in the country.
Rehabilitation and expansion work are being carried out side by side to improve performance of the existing lines, in addition to providing new ones.
The discos, the TCN.
Distribution companies, and they came with their KPIs. Now, when they came with their KPIs, each one of them have to demonstrate their KPIs and show what they are doing. And the KPIs was very simple.
Plant and
however, there was no tariff increase. They are now supposed to pay 400 million naira monthly. That in itself has put them in a disadvantaged position on their capitalization.
all right.
Here, there has to be a way out. Either the CBN help them to renegotiate the loan and domicile it back to Naira at an appropriate rate so that they will be freed with the burden of exchange forex shock. Same thing with the gas pricing. While the gas that is used from the generators is in dollars, the tariff is in Naira. There is risk that has not been properly apportioned across the value chain. These issues, as I said, needs to be looked at holistically. It's not enough to sit down and say the licensees are not doing enough. No matter the power, quantum of power you generate, if the Naira portion of the value chain is not addressed well, we will not get it right. Either the tariff is not enough or the performance of the licenses is not enough.
Yes.
You or in court, maybe on their monitoring and enforcement, there is, for example, a regulatory capture that the regulator cannot enforce its own orders. They cannot put on penalties. Cumbersome dispute resolution mechanism. For example, you are giving a crazy bill, you don't know where to go and correct it. And it will take you 6 months to be following the licensee to correct it. And if you pay for a PPM meter, they will be very delighted to transfer the debt without reconciliation to your new PPM meter that you must pay before you charge the meter. These are regulatory issues that the regulator has to wake up on monitoring and compliance and enforcement of their own rules. The issue is beyond the market itself. We need to operationalize contracts. Discos have not dropped, many of them have not dropped their 3 months LC. So they can run away with market settlement issues without repercussions. Nobody will go to the bank and maybe garnish their account. That is why the government, I think twice, pumped in money to salvage the sector.
And still,
the first one to pay legacy debt, the second one, 710 billion naira, has gone down the drain. It's a sinking hole. There is another one that is just about to, it's been the $1 billion investment that we have to do gap analysis on the interface point and on the disco network itself to find out where are we supposed to invest. It's not just saying I need money. It has to be calculated investment.
Yeah, right. I think we've really discussed distribution extensively. But I think one of us had said before that if one of the 3 entities is weak, the rest will not function too. So I want to look at the whole thing holistically, right from generation to transmission to distribution. There was a position paper I wrote in 2006 during President Yar'Adua's government, where I clearly stated the problems in power supply in Nigeria. I titled that document Status of Power supply in Nigeria position paper, which government really was very much interested in, because I stated clearly the problems, the opportunities too, and what we need to do. Government was interested in it. It was still being discussed in presidency and Ministry of Power before the president died then. And then the permanent secretary also, left service. And what I wrote in that paper holds good even today, even though it may need some modification because passage of time, So what I tried to say in that paper is, in generation, for instance, we need to diversify mix. There's plenty of gas, yes, we know, but the gas is located in one place. So we need to either get gas ring around the country, or we build other modes of power supply. And I advocated very strongly that coal power generation should be encouraged and backed on. I know the world is talking so much about retiring coal power plants because of ozone layer depletion.
Exactly. So
yeah, but those countries, West America, Asia, talking about it, all started with coal power plant and stabilized with coal power plant before they now are trying to retire them to go into renewable energy. Nigeria cannot really go far without the big power plants, which you can simply get from coal, then hydros anyway. Unfortunately, we don't have so much of big rivers that can give us outside the probably 5. So we still need to consider building of coal power plants in Nigeria. South Africa, we are always talking of 45,000 megawatts and all that. Most of South Africa's plants are coal power plants. One power plant, I've forgotten the name of that power plant, generates 850 megawatts, a unit times 6, just one power plant. Cool. So we need to go into it. When we stabilize like other countries, then we can talk of maybe retiring them and going into renewable energy. You know. So that's for power generation anyway. For the grids, I think we should also encourage isolated grids. National grid is quite okay; it's already in place. But I think we should encourage states, even private people, to build power plants, even if they're not so big, within states, and use the network, depending on the quantum of power from the power plant, use the local network distribution to distribute it, or go into the grid if they have excess generation. We need to really have isolated grids, not just one. The United States is talking about it's isolated grid. There's nothing like national grid. Many other countries that way. And that is why they are stable. You know, very importantly too, like now, I'm happy the MD of NTCN is here. Power system collapse. You know, there's a way we can manage it for now. You know, when we were still in NEPA, what we did was to split the grid into two. It's just a matter of opening necessary breakers and isolators. Split the grid into two. So that if there's failure of one side, the other one will still be healthy, and you can power the collapsed side from the one that is healthy. That is the only way to do it. Because each time the whole grid collapses, because we don't have a plant, you know, what we call a black start machines and equipment, it takes a long time for the power plants to come back. But if one side is healthy while the other collapses, you transfer power. Close those breakers and isolators and send power and they can restart. You know, NEC too, to me, should do more work than it is doing. I think probably they are not very much equipped in terms of manpower to do the proper regulation. Because I believe that, you know, it's not just a matter of regulating, they also need to, NEMSA is there, they say there are size of standards. In my opinion, NEC should have been in charge of those things. Because once you have an overlap in function, there's always problem. You know, so NEC needs to do a lot of work. Part of which is ensuring that the staff who are in these facilities are trained, competent. Okay. Because even with all the money, if the staff are not good, the money will go down the drain too.
All right.
You know?
So let's come back to the MD moving forward and improving transmission and fixing the issues that we've raised.
Thank you, Tari. Thank you, Cyril. You know, as I said, on the transmission side, we have taken the bull by the horn. As I said, we know that for a long time there was no significant investment in the network. So that is why we are rehabilitating the entire network, meaning most of the substations across the country, we are rehabilitating them. And we are also not doing that without looking into account the quality of power. Like my former boss said, if you look at the grid that we are running, somebody who said, why will the system not collapse when we are running a grid without a spinning reserve?
Exactly.
We have to have a spinning reserve for you to have a
This
grid
spinning
that
reserve
is,
we talk about in layman's terms, so that people can understand actually what it is.
Yes. Maybe I can explain it to you.
Yeah, let the ED
For the system to be stable, there must be some idle generation.
Right.
In a power plant, for instance, that has maybe 6 units, you could leave one out. Even if it's available, quite all right, but you leave it out in case there is need. A collapse somewhere.
More or less a redundancy.
Exactly.
Right. Not only so.
It collapses somewhere, then use it to make up. And most of the time, too, you know, the gas plants, that's what they are very good for. Anyway, as spinning reserves. Generally, about 20% of your generation should be on spinning reserve. But, of course, like you said, we don't even have enough, not to talk of a spinning reserve.
No, let me put it this way about this spinning reserve. It's not necessarily that you must have one generator on standby. The idea here is that you have to run your generators in a certain regime that they should have capacity to hold a threshold. For instance, Igbin is one of the formidable power plants. One unit has 250 megawatts. What we do, these generators have capacity to run under 75% capacity load, leaving the remaining 25 for quick ramming. Because even if you say you are leaving one generator, by the time it takes you to bring it in, the grid will have collapsed. So you run these generators not directly at optimal, but leave some clearances of their capacity at 25%, so that when the grid is catapulting for stability, they can quickly ram up, because they are already running under a threshold regime. But to do that, it comes at a cost, because you are running the generators under some functional braking or governing systems. So these are all mechanisms that has to be put to place.
So spinning means that the turbine is on load, but it's not sending out power.
Not sending out 100% of its power.
That is the means of spinning.
That is what I was
Okay, so let's continue.
The spinning reserve is actually what is what we call online generation. The generation is ready, but the generation is not generating.
Exactly.
So it's supposed to be a generator. It's not every generator that can do spinning reserve.
No,
it has to be a generator
not.
that can come up within a period of 10 seconds. So
Gas
if a
power
generator
plants
cannot come very fast, even if it is online, that is not ideal for spinning reserve. And that's why when we advertise for spinning reserve, even though we need at least 10% of our generation as a spinning reserve, which is about 400 megawatt, unfortunately, what we can get, I mean, in terms of generators that are ideal for that kind of work, is only 260 megawatt. And that's why we're waiting for the approval to deploy the spinning reserve. So with the level of frequency control that we have achieved, if we have the spinning reserve, even though it's not enough, it's 260, we believe that the grid will be more stable until such time when we are going to put in advert again to buy more spinning reserve. I want to tell you, Cyril, we are building the transmission network in such a way that everywhere there is a radial, we are making it a loop. That's what we are doing. And every line that we have that has problem, we are fixing it. That is why if you look at on the grid now, there are several inadequacies on the network. Look at the line from Equator Benin to Ugwaji to Jos. You know the design, there's a design problem. There's not enough reactor on that line. We have 3 reactors that we have bought now. They have been installed along that line. We have discovered on that line there is no transposition. We are now fixing, we are putting transposition. We discovered that from Ugwaji to Jos, the OPGW is not commissioned. We have called the contractor to come and do it. So this is what we are doing across the value chain. But as I said, all this that we are doing, we have to have commensurate investment on the side of distribution. For generation, Cyril, I want to tell you that if you look at what we are doing with Zingeru is coming on board. That in Koa, the problem between the problem that the contractor and the owner has been resolved. We believe that in the next maybe 1 year, we'll be able to have a generation in Dadinkoa. That means we'll have a voltage stability around that side because the generator will help us. Sure. Look at the Guiwa solar IPP. It's going to be a reality. We're going to have 1,000 megawatt. In fact, the European Union gave us a grant of 25 million euro as part of the evacuation that we're going to do on that line. And the contract is under evaluation as we speak with you. We are putting the 330 kV double cycle line from Katsina to Daura, Guiwa, Jogana, Jogana to Kura. So that's what we're doing. But there's something I want to correct. Engineer Dogo, I don't think there is poverty. I mean, I don't think there's a relationship between poverty and payment of electricity.
At all.
Now, let me tell you. Look at Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso is buying electricity from Cote d'Ivoire at the rate of about between 21 cents and 27 cents per kilowatt hour. That's what they're buying. And the efficiency of Burkina Faso utility is between 98% and 100%. As the last board meeting we did of WAP, Burkina Faso was not owing Cote d'Ivoire a single cent. That's why they want to come and buy electricity in Nigeria, which they believe is going to be cheaper. Now, what is the difference between Burkina Faso and us? The only difference between us and Burkina Faso is that, and I went there to go and see it, is that no house is connected without meter. Now, look at the problem, Cyril. The issue to say that a poor man cannot pay for electricity is not correct. Because if somebody is earning 50,000 naira and he went and used electricity disproportionately, and in that month he paid 30,000 as electricity. Now, next month, he will switch the electricity in a way that he will not consume that kind of electricity. So what we are saying is that give him the electricity stable and give him the option on when to switch it on and switch it off. And be transparent with him. That's what we are saying. But this game that we have all vast areas that have no meter. Then you give them energy the time you like. There you give them maybe 5 hours, and you build them as if you have given them 24 hours. It's not reasonable.
No, Nigerians,
Cyril, I want to confirm to you.
When it comes to when there's good quality,
no, I want to
Nigerians
confirm
are
to you,
quite flamboyant.
my driver who has no AC in his house pays more electricity than me.
Yeah.
Because he's on a fixed charge in his house. So we have to solve this game where we have disenfranchised our people. They're angry with us. They refuse to pay because they're angry with us. They beat us when we go. And a situation where we should be transparent. Give these people, measure them, and pay them, and let them pay.
Okay, let's hear from you.
Well, what he's talking on capacity to pay for electricity. Our problem in the country is about discipline. You know, you are not even in the books of the disco. You climb, you hook the line, and start using the electricity. The disco itself try to lump up the bills to the paying customers. There is also the issue of, for example, demand-side management. The discos should enforce where the energy goes to at a particular time. They should also encourage, through the tariff system, industries working at the time that the electricity consumption is low. Demand. Industries can work in the night. They can change their shift system.
Okay.
Such
Just go ahead.
Such that you will not, the consumption and the generation will go together like a flat rate, not peaks in the morning, another peak in the night or evening. Then you will see that early everything has just collapsed to maybe the consumption is around 2,000 megawatts.
Yeah.
If the industries are allowed to come in at that time, and the tariff should encourage them to do that.
All right, on a final note, this is probably not a question, just an observation. Popular opinion.
Yes.
Just a short while ago, MD, you said some country was thinking of buying power from Nigeria because it probably would be cheaper. Popular opinion is that, yes, Nigeria is selling power to countries outside and they can't get enough at home. Does it make sense?
Thank you, Cyril. You know, I am the grid administrator, so I can tell you what the grid contains and what the grid does not have. As we speak with you now, at any point in time, we have more than 2,000 megawatts that we are not consuming, as at now. And Cyril, I also want to tell you that between us and our neighboring countries, and that is why we don't have option than to fix electricity, actually. Between us and neighboring countries, if you are talking about conventional generation, we have comparative advantage than any other country in West Africa, meaning we can generate electricity cheaper than any country in West Africa. So, actually, if we fix the transmission network, we can actually sell electricity to other countries and make money here and create jobs here. That is a fact. But look at the problem. The problem is that we need to ensure that there is some level of transparency in what we do. We need to ensure that our people are treated better. And I also want to tell you, Cyril, if you look at us and our neighbors, like Ghana, like Cote d'Ivoire, and like Ghana, like all these Niger and all of those countries, do you know that the only thing that we have as comparative advantage against them, we have signed the partnership agreement now. Now, it means that anybody who wants to build a company in Nigeria will look at whether he should build in Ghana and bring it here, or build in Cote d'Ivoire, in Benin, or in Ghana. Now, the only two things we have comparative advantage against our neighbor is only electricity and population. But population is not even an advantage since you can put it in Nigeria and come here. So we have to fix electricity for the economy to work. That is a fact. If you are talking of ease of doing business, for the next 100 years, we cannot compete with Ghana. Why? Because Ghana is a unitary state. If you want to start a company in Ogun State, for example, you have to satisfy the federal requirement and satisfy the state requirement. If you want to do that kind of same company in Kumasi, you don't need any federal requirement, state requirement. Yeah. When you satisfy one requirement, you are okay. Now, if you are talking about multiple taxation, the same, it applies. You will have any form of taxation by state, you will have by local government, and you have by the federal. If you go to all those countries that surround us, Niger, all of them, they're all unitary states. Okay. So we can't. So we have to fix the electricity.
As I always say on this program, no one program can take care of all the issues. But so far, we've been able to raise some issues and receive answers to them. At some other point in time, we'll take a second look at the power supply chain, and hopefully we'll be able to ask you to come again and tell us just how well TCN has done now. You've mentioned a lot of projects and what you've done, so we'll be keeping a watch, and maybe we'll ask you to come again.
Thank you very much.
For now, we want to thank all of you for coming. Thank you so much to Hashim Ibrahim Bakuri, former Executive Director of Technical Services of the Just Distribution Company. We thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. Well, Dr. Vincent Dogo, it's always a delight to listen to you. Thank you for coming. Thank you. And we say big thanks to Ozoemena Okechukwu Peter, former Executive Director, Generation of NEPA.
Thank you, Cyril.
Thank you so
much. Thank you, Nigerians, for listening to us.
All right. And again, thank you to Usman Gur Mohammed, the MD CEO of TCN and the chairman of the West African Power Pool. Thanks for being on this.
Thank you very much.
And thank you too for being part of it. Next week we'll be back with NTA Tuesday Live. I'm Cyril Stober. Bye for now.
has been an age-long struggle between being a man to your woman and being the man to your guys. And some people will say you can tell a lot about a man from the way he treats the women in his life. Well, grab a glass, it's time for At the Bar. And I am your host, Ray Adeta, aka Remarkable, and today is going to be a very exciting episode. I'm sure we're going to have a few laughs and also some few facts also. And you know the tradition of the show, I'm always never alone. I have with me ever dependable, always there. Actually, never always there for me.
That's what I'm the man.
Mr. Calico.
I'm the man.
It's a building.
What's happening, man? I like, you don't know I like that quote. Guys, you guys are set for a good time always. As you know, we like to give you all that stuff. So stick around. But wait, which are you? The guy who sticks for the guys or the one who does for the women? Which one do you do?
You guys will find out after the quick flash break. And when we get back, we'll talk about more on this topic. So you guys find out the topic too. So see you guys in a bit.
Okay.
Alright, so you asked me a question.
Yeah, I did.
Let me keep that aside first.
Answer my question. Really, don't.
What was the question?
I'm asking you which one are you, the man to your woman or?
You also want to find me question. Where's Hafiz?
Hafiz.
So you're saying something.
Okay. So which one are you now? Seriously, tell me. You don't have this one. Which one are you? A guy to your woman or a guy to your guys? Which one are you?
Can I be both? Can I be both? It's not a crap.
Put down. Pick a side, bro. Pick a side.
I'm both. I find a balance.
Well, I'll pick a side for you.
I'll pick a side for you.
You're a guy to your guys. You're not a guy to your woman. So that's a side.
Alright, so today's topic, we're talking about the front seat rule.
Yeah.
It's sort of a figuratively speaking. It's not just it's not literal, it's figurative. So we'll expatiate more so you guys just hang around while we collect our drink from a piece.
I feel the man. Thanks a bunch.
And then we'll talk about the topic. So, Kali.
Yeah, one.
Front seat rule, what comes to mind?
Yeah, it's like, to me, a front seat rule is always, you know, if you've got a car, right? Yeah, there's always that rule that you have that if I'm driving, I'm going to pick up my chick and my guy is sitting right in front of my car. My guy should go back.
That's your own rule.
That's my own rule. He should go back so the chick can sit in front.
Now, let's say in TLC, they call it scrub.
Yeah.
The scrub is the guy that's always in the front.
Yeah.
And then next to the guy, you always feel like you're also the designated DJ because you're gonna control the sound. And then so they won't go pick one chick and then my guy, because the guy goes sit up about what? You know? So it's actually quite sensitive. As fun as it is, quite sensitive. Some people might take offense to that, like, now if we got a woman, go tell me your guy, sit up for my boy that girl, you understand?
Boys take offense to it.
I say testimony, timbara boss. Timbara boss.